Madlozi ya kuluma nawe. Takazani Dimelang Khanya Lisedi. Hello everyone and welcome back to the one-on-one sessions with Gogo Sorry. And I'm your host Gogo. I'm giving you guys tips, lessons and teachings on everything spirituality. So it's actually been such a long time since I've uploaded a video, so I'm actually really excited to be taking this video and being uploading it today. So yeah, last time we talked about plants that are used for good luck, plants that you can have in your home that will bring you good luck and all that. So I did mention that in the next video we'll be talking about plants that are there for protection, meaning that when you have them in your home, they will have a certain spiritual energy to protect your household. So yes, these plants will go hand in hand with you protecting your home spiritually, of course, because they can only do so much to a certain extent, but having them nonetheless is actually a very good idea for anyone who's seeking for spiritual protection or connecting spiritually with the spirits and the ancestors that are governing them, because some of this herbs are actually very good for connecting with your ancestors. And the good thing is that I did note down which one's actually good for spiritual connection along with protection, right? So yeah, I'm gonna start with my list. The first plant, which is something that is a plant that is known everywhere and it is found everywhere because this plant has a lot of benefits and a lot of functions. It not only helps with protection, but it also helps with having good skin and healthy hair. So I use it almost all the time, right? So this plant is the aloe vera, right? So the aloe vera can also be called sehopa in my language, jojoba in other people's language, but the aloe vera is one of the most known herbs there is, or the most known plants there is out there, right? Like I said, it's very, very good for protecting your home, for protecting your household, for spiritual protection in a sense, right? So what happens that when you have the aloe vera plant planted in your home, whenever there are spiritual attacks, it has the ability of fighting off a certain amount of the spiritual attacks that are occurring in your home, right? And when you have it, another thing that I actually really like about it is that it strengthens, or rather energizes home protection herbs on a regular basis, meaning that the protection herbs that you have in your home will maintain a very strong spiritual power for a long period of time because of the aloe vera being planted, or rather the aloe vera being there in the household. Okay, so not only is it good for spiritual protection, but it also has a huge range of spiritual healing properties, right? So aloe vera is used for a lot of things spiritually, to heal a lot of sicknesses, high blood pressures. Like there's just so many sicknesses that it actually is very good in helping. So you'd find out every healer, right, in their dumba, they must have an aloe vera. Like I've never encountered a healer who doesn't have an aloe vera. I know that there's someone there who doesn't have it, but from my own experience, there's a lot of people who actually have it and they use it for so many things, right? And I did mention that it's not only good for spiritual protection and spiritual healing, but also for other things in general. So you can wash your hair with it, so like make a shampoo with it. It's actually very good for the hair. Like it makes your hair very rich, very strong and very full. So yeah, I use it all the time. And also great for the skin. If you have like very bad skin conditions and you don't want to use any chemicalized stuff, you can actually just apply it in your skin as a mask and then wash it off after like 5 minutes. It's actually very good for that. So and also for your metabolism, you know, it's also edible. So for your metabolism, it is amazing. Just drinking it on a regular basis can actually help your body digest food a lot better, especially for those who want to lose weight or those whose digestive systems, like people that are always bloated in a sense. Like drinking the aloe vera is actually very, very good for you. Okay. The second herb that I have is the sage. So a sage is a herb that I have spoken about a lot, especially when I was talking about herbs that are good for connecting, not really connecting, but for repelling any negative energies or entities, especially when you're doing meditations, when you're doing rituals, spells, those kind of things. It's actually a very good herb, right? So what I wrote here is that it clears and cleanses negative energy in the home, which is what the first video about the sage was all about, it clearing and cleansing of any negative energy, right? So you could be moving into a new house. It's very good to actually burn sage in the household, or whenever you feel like there's entities or certain things in the home, it's very wise for you to burn sage in your home. So like it's the same as Palo Santo. I also made a video about that one as well. So what it does is that it clears and removes any negative energies and entities. So even when you're doing meditations, when you're doing breathing techniques, when you're connecting with your spirits in any way whatsoever, it is very wise to actually use sage on a regular basis, because remember what, certain spiritual rituals attract negative energies and entities, and these negative energies and entities can actually later lead up to demonic possessions, hauntings and stuff like that. So when you burn sage on a regular basis in your home, it actually clears all those things away, allowing the good spirits to be able to come to you and speak to you. The good spirits, I'm talking about the ancestors, people who have passed away but do not really mean any harm to anyone in any way whatsoever. Those are the spirits that you can allow into your home, you can allow into your household. But the others are things that you must never have in your cycle or in your surroundings, because those kind of spirits can actually hinder your progress, they can affect your life, they can bring a lot of negativity for you and put you in a place whereas you end up losing a lot of things more than you are gaining. So the sage is actually very good for that, right? And secondly, it invites the ancestors, meaning that when you want to speak with your ancestors, burn sage is actually gonna be good. And with me saying burn sage, understand that sage is sort of like white sage, palo santo, impep. Impep is also a sage, right? It has this fancy white English Western name to it, but it's also a sort of like a sage. So a lot of us Southern healers, we know that whenever we burn impep or we call our ancestors, this is like the food of the ancestors. This is a herb that you connect and communicate with your ancestors with on a regular basis. So yes, it is a type of sage. So let's say, for example, you're in South Africa and you can't really get access to white sage because you're not, it is very far, so you have to order it from afar and stuff like that. So let's say you can't get access to it, you can also still use impepo to do the things that you want to do with white sage, right? Because they are all sages at the end of the day. Okay, number 3 is the bushberry. Okay, so the bushberry, I don't really have a lot of details about this herb because I don't about this plant because I've never used it, but in my research I heard that it's actually very good for protecting the household. So for those of you guys that have access to this herb, I'd say, well, you guys should go get it and have it in your home, have it in your household for protecting your home from negative energies, negative entities, from any spiritual attacks whatsoever. Okay, have this plant planted in your home. You can have it in the household or have it in your yard, wherever you feel comfortable putting it, it's fine. Okay, then another one that I have, which is number 5, is holy shrubs. Okay, I wrote down that holy shrubs can grow everywhere and stay green all year long. Okay, so holy shrubs, name, there's this plant. Okay, actually try to put a picture of the holy shrubs on the screen, but knowing me, I'm probably gonna forget because I was supposed to do that in our last video and I didn't, right? So holy shrub is actually this plant. It's sort of like grass, right? But the thing about it is that it grows anywhere, even in a deserted or a desert, like a place that doesn't rain a lot, not really the desert, but a place that doesn't really rain a lot. It can grow there, and like you'd see a lot of it, and it's all pure green regardless of whether it had rained or not and whatnot. So it's all like has similar properties to the aloe vera, whereas it's able to store moisture inside it. So on a regular basis, it's able to feed off or survive off of the water that it has stored during rainy days and whatnot. So it's actually one of those herbs that never die, right? So let's say, for example, you decide to plant it, you don't really have to do a lot of things to maintain it and whatnot, and on its own it has a lot of spiritual properties. Understand that spiritual herbs are the kind of spiritual plants, most of the times, are the kind of plants that do not die regardless of the condition that they are in. Those are plants that actually live on throughout different seasons, throughout different climatic changes and whatnot. So the holy shrub is actually one of them. And even the name, like, it clears negative energies, it clears negative entities, anything that is not supposed to be there, anything that can hinder your progress. This is a herb that will actually clear that away from you. It removes toxins and whatnot, spiritual toxins from spiritual attacks. It removes them, hence that is why it is called the holy shrub, right? Number 6, we have rose bushes. So last time we talked about roses, we were talking about herbs that are there for money and luck and love. So there's also holy bushes, right? So holy bushes is sort of like how do I put this? So rose bushes are practically just roses. They're just roses. I'm not a botany person, so they all look alike. I just don't understand why the some they call them rose flowers, rose bushes. So I just figured that it may be the stem and the leaves of the roses, but at the same time, I'm like, it is what it is. So when you have a rose in your home, it's gonna be there for money and luck, but it's also gonna be there for protecting the home, protecting the energy in the household, and clearing off any negative energy that is not supposed to be there in your surroundings, right? Number seven. Okay, this is actually my favorite herb. This is actually my favorite plant. Nine is called mint. I know most of you guys know. And you know the funny thing, right? When I actually found out that mint is actually accessible here in South Africa, like you can literally go to the woods and get it. You can literally do that. I think I found that out from 4 years ago, and I was so happy. I was almost like I've never seen myself that excited in my life. I was so excited. So yeah, mint herb is actually very great. When you're doing meditation, you can actually have the herb near you, or you can have like the mint tea. So the scent of the mint is actually one of the best thing to put a person into a relaxation state and allow you to get into a trance state with ease, right? And not only is it great for that, but also it is good for protecting the home. Obviously, that is why it's in this list. It protects the home from any negative energies, any negative entities. And even when you're meditating, and make sure when you're meditating, you have it with you, it repels any entities that are not supposed to be there at that particular moment in the household or in your surroundings while you're doing the meditation, right? And it has, okay, I talked about the fragrance already. What else? Oh, other properties that it has. Actually, a very good one, like plant for flus and stuff like that. So it's actually very good, and also for bad breath. So let's say for example you have really bad breath, you can actually just chew on the mint itself, and it's actually gonna great like help a lot with your breath. It's also good for sicknesses like flus, colds, fevers and stuff like that. So it has a lot of like uses on its own, right? Has a lot of uses on its own, but for protecting your household and protecting you when you're doing the meditations and whatnot, it is amazing for those things. It actually heals the best results ever for you, and I'd advise everyone to have it at some point, or rather use it on a regular basis when you're connecting or doing meditations and whatnot with your spiritual guides or your ancestors, right? And the last herb, or rather the last plant, which is also one of my favorite, is the rosemary plant. So not only is this plant good for protecting the home, but it is amazing for killing off any bad vibes. Okay, so let's say for example someone came through and this person just left so many like negative energy in the home, then trust me, this plant will actually get rid of all of that for you. It's actually amazing for that, right? And secondly, the scent cleanses harmful toxins, meaning that even physical toxins, not just spiritual toxins, but let's say for example there's something that rotted or something that molded in the home. When you have the rosemary in the household, it actually clears out the toxins, the harmful toxins, because you know those things can kill at some point, right? The scents can kill at some point. The more you inhale them or more you exhale them, they can cause a lot of harm to you, both in your lungs and other parts of your body. So this herb not only protects you from spiritual attacks, but also it gets rid of any harmful toxins, and also gets rid of any insects that can cause any harm to you at the end of the day. So the rosemary is also a must get herb. And there's one that I didn't write down here, which is actually my favorite. I think I wrote it on the thing, on the other thing, is the cycad plant, right? So I talked about the cycad a lot, and I did mention that it's there for protection, it is there for money and luck, and also it is actually very good for connecting with your ancestors. So it was supposed to be in this list, but I think I didn't write it down because of the fact that I spoke about it last week. So I figured I talked about it anyway. But also the cycad is actually very good for protection. Let's say for example you don't want to get too many plants, or you don't have access to the ones that I talked about, you can still get the cycad, have it planted in your home, and you will be sorted. Anyways, that is it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. I really miss doing this, and I cannot wait for the next video. Anyways, you guys have a beautiful one. Bye bye.